Have you ever heard this Arabic song before? Khaibar, Khaibar, Ya Yahud, Jishu Muhammad, Sufa Yahud. Do you know what it means? Remember, Jews, what happened in Khaibar? The army of Muhammad will be back again. So guys, do you remember what happened in Khaibar? Do you know what is the story? Do you know what the army of Muhammad have done to the Jews over there? I'm not sure that even the Muslims remember what the Jews have done back to them. You won't believe to this amazing story? Here we go. This song came to the world back in the 80s. The guy which published it, it's Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, the guy which started the Hamas movement. But he is not the only one. Since he started it, there is today army units in the world which called khaibar units, and there is missiles which was shot to Israel, which their name is Khaibar, and in almost every Muslim protest in the world, they sing that song. So what is Khaibar? What does all the Muslims in the world want us, the Jews, to remember? Our story begins on the year of 622. On that time, Muhammad decided to move from a place which called Mecca to a place which called Medina. When he came over there, he found there 100,000 of Jews which have their own kingdom, live their peaceful life, very beautiful place with a lot of water, with a lot of fruits, with a good land. And then he decided to start to speak with them in a good way to change their religion from the Jewish religion and convert to Muslim. And he found out that it's not that easy. The Jews are not willing to accept his religion. And then he decided if the Jews don't want to listen in the good way, so let's do it in the hard way. And he decided to fight against the Jews. But it wasn't that easy because everybody knew in that time that the Jews are very, very strong people, and even one soldiers of the Jews can beat 1,000 soldiers of other army. So one day Muhammad had captured few men of the Jewish tribe which called the Kinoka tribe, and he put them in the market, and then he told them, come on, you know that I am a true prophet. You know that in your Bible God have told you to listen to me, accept my religion, the Islam, and if not, God will take care of you guys. And they said, come on Muhammad, are you serious? What do you think, that we are like your mans, that you can tell us whatever you want and we have to believe you? You can try to fight against us and then you will know that we are true mans. Muhammad didn't like their answer and he just decided to fight against them, and unfortunately they lost. And after that he made a pogrom in their tribe, killed them all, take off their heads, take their kids and their wives as his slaves. And that was only the beginning. From that tribe he moved to another tribe which called the Nadir tribe, and then to another tribe, and then he threw out from Medina all the Jews and he took over their land and started his kingdom on the Jewish people land. And where is that people moved to? They went to the north to a place which called Khaibar. There was another Jewish tribes which lived there and they just joined them. In one of that fights against a tribe which called Bnei Kurtaya, the story says that the pogrom there was very, very brutal. Muhammad had gathered together 900 men of that tribe and just took their head off in front of their wives and their kids, and then he take the women and their kids as slaves for him and his people. On the year of 629, the Jewish tribes in Khaibar understood they are the next ones. So they decided, instead of fighting, let's start to speak. They sent someone to Muhammad and told him, let's make some negotiation. Let's speak together and make peace. So he said, okay, you want to make peace? Come and let's speak. So they sent 30 people, the biggest rabbis, the leaders of the tribes, and they came without soldiers, without weapons like they agreed, and in the middle of the way, Muhammad just jumped on them with his soldiers and killed them all. This is one of the stories that the Muslim learned from there, that you can lie in negotiation of peace. You can even sign an agreement of peace and then don't keep it.
We bid them shalom, salam, peace.
After that, Muhammad said to himself, okay, I have killed all the leaders of the Jewish tribes in Khaibar. That means that's going to be easy to fight against them. And he have done that, fights against the Jews in Khaibar, and unfortunately he wins. And after that, like every other war, he killed all the men, took their heads off, and then he take the women and the kids as slaves, and the ladies, he took them also as, you know. On that time lived in one of the tribes a big rabbi, which his name was Rabbi Shmuel ben Adaya. He wrote books that even the Muslims today still learn that books as the holy books. There is even a sentence which the Muslims still say it until today: there isn't loyal like Samuel, and that means to him. Shmuel had a daughter, which her name was Bara. She was married to one of the leaders of one of the tribes, which his name was Rabbi Chai, the son of Achituv, Chai ben Achituv. And they had a daughter. Their daughter name was Tzafia. On the time of the war, Tzafia was 17 years old and she was just married to a guy which his name was Knaana ben El Rabbi. And Knaana was in charge on the money of all of the tribe. During the war, all that family captured alive. And Muhammad decided to kill Chai ben Achituv and his wife, take their head off in front of Tzafia. But when Muhammad heard that Knaana is in charge on the money of that tribe, he decided to torture them until he will tell them where is all the money. So he gave him to someone which melts some metals and pour it on his chest until he will give the answer, but he didn't give the answer, so that's the way he died. And you're probably asking yourself, so what happened to Tzafia? The answer is Muhammad took her as his wife, as his 11th wife. But she wasn't the only Jewish wife. He took another 3 ladies from the wars before that he killed their husbands and their parents in front of their eyes, and he just took them as his wives. That's exactly what all the Muslims in the world wants you to remember, guys. Don't forget what Muhammad have done to you, the Jews, in Khaibar. And one day, the army of Muhammad will come back again and will kill you all, and will take your heads off, and will take your women's and your kids as his own slaves. That's exactly what he's saying now for 50 years. That's exactly what he's saying. They want us to remember that that's what will happen. And they sing it, they say it, and unfortunately, they do it again. But there is only one problem with that story. The Muslims have already forgot what the Jews have done to them after what happened. You won't believe to that story. That's the place which our story only begins. There is a Muslim story about a Jewish lady which Muhammad have killed her husband and her kids, and then he took her and captured her and took her as a slave. And she asked, what is the best food which Muhammad liked? And she made him the best food he liked, and then she put a lot of poison in it. And then just tasted and he felt the poison. And then he asked her, why have you done that? And then she answered, if you are a prophet, nothing will happen to you. But if you are a king and you killed my family and my nation, you deserve to die, and that will kill you. At the end, he have suffered all his life from that poison. And before he died, he said that he died because of that poison of that Jewish lady. Some of the Jewish people which have survived from that pogroms of Muhammad went to the high mountains of Khaibar and gathered together and decided 2 important things. First of all, they decided to try again to build their Jewish life with a Jewish tribe, and they put on themselves a new king from one of the great-great-grandkids of King David. And the other thing they have decided, it's not to get involved with anyone, live among themselves. And one more important thing they have decided, to have a revenge in Muhammad and his believers. We try to speak in peace, but you came and fight against us. We tried to live our religion and you tried to convert us by force to your religion. You stole our wives and our kids. You killed our men. You stole our land. Saudi Arabia was a Jewish land. Now it's time to have a revenge, and they start to attack all the believers of Muhammad, which start to move to Mecca and Medina every year. Between the years of 700 and 850, there is letters of Muslim pilgrims which describe how they got robbed by the Jewish army of huge superheroes, Jewish people, which attacked the caravans and just robbed them. On the year of 880, a Jewish guy, which his name is Rabbi Eldad Adani, he came from the tribe of Dan, which lived in Ethiopia, in Africa. And he came to Europe and he said, I met the Jewish people of Khaibar. You won't believe what the Jewish people they are. They are strong, they are big, and they are attacking the Arabs as a revenge of what would the Muslims have done to them. You get what it means? We're speaking about the year of 880 and the Muslims pogrom happened on 625. We're speaking about more than 200 years of a revenge against the Muslims. And then on the year of 1038, there is a letter which a rabbi, the biggest rabbi in the world at that time, Rabbi Shrira Gaon, lived in Babylon. He received the letter from Khaibar, from the Jewish people there, which asked him what to do, what not to do, and he sent them an answer, and that answer is still learned in the yeshivot all over the world. That means that the Jewish people in Khaibar were keeping Torah and mitzvot, they were living a Jewish religious life among themselves in that mountains there. And then on the year of 1175, a rabbi which his name is Rabbi Binyamin from Todela, he came there to that area and he wrote in his book that the Jewish tribes over there have a real prosperity. There is about 300,000 Jewish people which have their own Jewish king and they have their own Jewish rabbi sitting together in a court which called Sanhedrin, and they live a Jewish life and they have a huge army which attacking all of the people of the Muslims guys which come to Mecca, and all of that it's a revenge for what Muhammad have done to the Jewish people of Khaibar. On the year of 1488, a rabbi which his name is Rabbi Ovadia Mibartenua wrote a book, and he described in his book that there is many Jewish people which live there in Khaibar and they attacked the Muslims every year. He asked the Muslim which came back from Mecca to Jerusalem, and he asked them if that happened, and they said that's happening. We are going every time only 4,000 camels. If we're less than that, we're not moving, because we know that if we are less than 4,000 camels, that means thousands of people together, so the big Jewish army will be able to attack us and rob us. And Rabbi Ovadia said that the Muslims told him that they call this army Bnei El Shaddai, because that army, every time they attack, they're screaming all the time, El Shaddai, which is one of the Jewish names for God. And then on the year of 1524, something special happened. To Rome arrived a guy which his name is David, the son of Solomon. He said that he's a prince. His father Solomon was the king of the Jewish tribe in Khaibar, and he passed away, and his brother Yosef is now the king, and he sent him to the Pope to speak with him and tell him that they want to go back to Jerusalem and bring the kingdom of the great-grandkids of King David back to Jerusalem, but they need help to do that, and that's why he was sent there to speak with the Pope about it. Well, the Pope never heard about Khaibar, and he never heard about the Jewish people there and the Jewish king there, so he decided to ask people if they heard about it, and he sent some people to check it out if that's real, and they came back with one answer: it's real. There is a Jewish tribe, a huge Jewish tribe in Khaibar. They are very strong, they have a big army, and that David which came here is real, the brother of the Jewish king. And only then the Pope really met the guy and actually gave him a big respect and decided to help him out to take over Jerusalem. And then on some point in the 18th century, a tourist guy from England, which his name was Dauti, get to that place, and he described in his book what he sees. And he said that he saw there are many Jewish people which live among themselves, and they have their own kingdom with a Jewish king, and they live Jewish life, and the Muslims really hate them because the Jews always attack the Muslims and rob them, and that's as a revenge because what Muhammad have done to the Jewish tribe of Khaibar many years before it, almost 1,000 years before it. And he described there that the most common curse that he heard all the time from the Muslims is, "You are a Jewish guy from Khaibar." Because they really hate the Jews from Khaibar, because they always attack them and rob them for 1,000 years. And then on the year of 1812, a big rabbi in Europe, which his name was Agra, Rabbi Eliyahu from Vilna, sent his students to Israel to start to build new villages and to try to build back the kingdom of Israel back in the land of Israel. The leader of that group was Rabbi Israel from Shiklov, and he have decided to send his student, Rabbi Baruch, to find the Jewish people in Khaibar. He sent a letter together with him for the Jewish king to tell him, the Jewish nation start to come back to Israel. We want to build the Jewish kingdom again in Israel. We ask you, the king, come back to Israel with the Jewish people you have there in Khaibar. We hear that you have a big army of warriors. We need you now in Israel. Come and help us. You can still read this letter at the internet. The last time we hear anything about the Jewish people in Khaibar, it's on the year of 1864. A rabbi, which his name is Rabbi Yaakov Sapir, and he wrote in his book the same things which people wrote in their books for 1,000 years. There is a big Jewish army back in Khaibar, and they are attacking the Muslims, which goes to Mecca. And the most common curse in the Muslim world for 1,000 years, it's "You are the son of the Jews from Khaibar." But after that, on one point, the Jewish kingdom just turned apart. We don't know exactly what happened. Some of the Jews went out and joined Jewish communities in different places in the world. Many of them came to Yemen, many of them came to Syria, to Iraq, but many of them also came to Israel and built their own villages here in Israel. But then something terrible happened. The Muslims here in Israel have succeeded to do what Muhammad and his believers didn't succeed in 1,000 years. And they attacked the Jews here in Israel, and they forced them to convert to Islam. Listen to what this guy have to say. And by the way, his cousin is Jibril Rajub, a big terrorist.
Half of Yatta comes from the Mechamora tribe. Today Yatta is a city of 80,000 people. They all know that their origins is Jewish. They keep Jewish customs like lighting candles in Shabbat. My origins are also Jewish. Everybody knows it. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
You, my friends in the US, when you protest and you saying free Palestine, and you singing Khaibar, Khaibar, Ya Yahud, what you're saying is actually one day the army of Muhammad will come back again and kill all the Jews in Israel and actually all the Jews in the world. And all the Muslims which hear me now, I must tell you something. We the Jews, we pray for peace. We want peace. We always wanted peace. But don't think that if we want peace, that means that we don't know how to fight. If you decided to fight against us, we can fight again. We did it. At the last time Muhammad attacked the Jewish people in Khaibar, we fight against the Muslims for 1,000 years and rob all the Muslims which came to Mecca for 1,000 years. And when you are singing Khaibar, Khaibar, Ya Yahud, don't remember only the first part of the story. Remember the second part of the story. We know how to revenge. We don't want to do it. We want peace. But if you guys would attack us, we know how to fight back. If you like that movie and you want me to make more movies like that, so don't forget to help this channel grow up. Say something on a comment, share this movie with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And if you think this is an important movie and you want more people to see that movie, so you got that thanks buttons down here, and if you press on them and you give something to the channel, $1, $2, $800, so YouTube understand that people are willing to spend money on these movies, that means that movies are important, people like them, and YouTube share these movies with more people all over the world. Thank you very much everyone, and see you on the next movie. Bye bye.